first two Batman Arkham games really brought Batman to a whole new level of gaming. But I think now that WB Montreal is taking over in place of Rocksteady, a lot of gamers are worried about whether or not they're going to be able to keep up that level of quality. Arkham Origins plays very similarly to the previous two Batman games, but WB Montreal's big selling point is more of everything. They're putting in more side missions, more gadgets, more enemy types, more basically.
I think the worst thing that you could do would be to come in and try and reinvent the wheel. So we're trying to be true to why people love those previous games and then add new things which grow on top of it. Batman will get new abilities, new attacks. There's a whole new upgrade structure to the game. So when the player goes out into the open world and he starts engaging with it, he'll find different opportunities to get experience points.
I think the concern with adding on to the already deep, complex systems of the previous two Batman games is they run the risk of adding too much. One of the new mechanics in Arkham Origins that I actually really enjoyed is the new investigation elements. Batman actually reconstructs the crime scene using his computer, and you can kind of rewind and fast forward and check out specific points as the crime was happening. I think it gives you a lot more room to actually feel like you're investigating and putting the pieces together.
We will have the player finding things which will not be incredibly hard to find, but then when you're looking at them and you're trying to figure out what the meaning of them is, and what the meaning of them is to the story, that's where it gets really exciting, because not all these characters are fully formed yet. They were doing something before they became these characters, which we know they'll eventually become. There's a kind of an energy there, an energy we want to try and capture. Who's next? Who's behind this? Why are they doing this? What are they doing? And then get satisfying crunching together of those things as you find out why.
In addition to Arkham Origins, there is a Vita and 3DS game coming called Arkham Origins Blackgate that's developed by Armature Studios, which is made up of members of Retro Studios, the guys who worked on the Metroid Prime games.
We created Armature about 5 years ago. Myself and two of my partners, we left Retro Studios together. Originally, we were going to be a small group working on experimental projects, but we ended up creating a larger team that's doing bigger projects with other developers, and right now we're working with Warner Brothers.
Blackgate is a 2.5D game. It's a lot more like traditional Metroid style game, but maintains the Arkham series very cinematic elements. So the camera's actually swinging around and following Batman, even though you're only moving on a 2D plane.
What we wanted to do in Blackgate was allow the player to go after any boss they wanted in any order. So you can play the game more than once and experience it in a different way and possibly break the game in ways that we've never even thought of.
Despite the fact that it's on a 2D plane, it uses the same free-flow combat system as the Arkham games. Armature has simplified the controls a little bit so that you can get around enemies and counterattack better, even with the limited movement options. So I guess it's exciting that we're getting 2 new Batman games this year, but I do still have some concerns and some worries about whether or not WB Montreal and Armature are going to be able to pull off creating as good of games.
We love what Rocksteady have done. We really admire who they are as developers, and they made Batman relevant in the gaming space. But we're making a game here with a story that's pivotal to this franchise, and a really important story which I think fans, when they hear about it, they should feel like, I'd like to know more about that.
There's definitely still a lot of hope for these to turn out to be awesome games, but I think it's going to be a while until we know for sure.